If you're the kind of woman that feels deeply, chances are high that people are using this against you, to manipulate you, to control you, and to get out of you whatever they want. Because for women, the fastest way to self-sabotage, to lose our privileges, our opportunities, and our emotional safety is showing the wrong emotion to the wrong person at the wrong time. You get emotional and suddenly you're announcing your next move without even realizing it. People are preparing to react already and neutralize whatever weapon you have. You threaten that you will leave when you never intended to leave. Or you even pull out a reaction with your face. You show a face expression that communicates to them what you feel. And this is how people learn to control you, like with a remote. They press a button and they get an outcome. Your emotions are this button. And if you don't control this remote, other people will control it for you. If you realize that you feel too deeply, then this video is for you. Because I'm going to show you how I went from feeling too deeply to feel when I want, for how long I want, and to stop when I want. And also how I went from reacting like a volcano to reacting like a time bomb. When I decide, where I decide, and designing my reaction based on my benefit. You will never click a button of mine and get the outcome that you want. You will always get surprised with something that never benefits you if you really want to go against me. After this video, you will be a self-possessed woman that nobody will pull the strings of your emotions and use you as their puppet. Why? Because this is not just about a performance or a script that I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you exactly how to rewire your brain to process your emotions differently and to show up in the world differently. The first thing I did is stopped thinking about my emotions like facts, and I started seeing them as chemical reactions happening in my body because of something that someone did to me or told me, or something that happened outside of my control. Why would I base my future, my outcomes, on something that is just a temporary chemical reaction in my body? First of all. And second thing, emotions are not even real. It's just your brain picking one possibility out of an infinite, unlimited field of possibilities and assuming that that is the truth, that that is real, that that person thought this about you, that this person did this to you because of XYZ reason. Is that the truth? Do you have the proof? Can you read the mind of this person? But your brain decided that it's because of that. So now the reaction, all this chemical reaction is happening in your body based on something that could be real, but also could be not. Another thing is that when you're a woman that generally improves herself, that works consistently on becoming better and better, people get more bitter and bitter to you. You will get constantly hated by people for absolutely no reason. You will maybe try to befriend someone, but these people will constantly try to put you down. Why? Because when you are the type of woman that likes herself, you are triggering most people out there. Most people, they don't like themselves and they don't intend to do anything about it. They don't want to change. The only thing they want to do is distract themselves from not liking themselves. So they constantly find a new way to distract themselves. This can be even hating you, creating groups to isolate you, to make you feel bad about yourself, and they consistently try to punish you consciously or unconsciously to make you feel as bad about yourself like they feel about themselves. Other people will just see in you what they want for themselves and that they can't achieve, and somehow instead of looking at their own blessings, they will look at your blessings and what they lack in themselves. They process your presence like a weight on their chest, and that's why they will make you feel like a weight. And with this, I want you to see that all of these are triggers that have absolutely nothing to do with you. And that's why when you feel bad for something that someone did to you or said to you, it doesn't really matter for your next step. But some really bad emotions don't even come from bad intentions. They come out in the relationships that should feel like a safe haven to us. Here is where we stop blaming others and we start looking within. If you are extremely sensitive, it could be that you are holding yourself at extremely high standards, and therefore you end up also holding at those standards people around you, the people that are the closest to you. You expect them to meet some standards that no matter how much these people love you, no matter how good these people are for you, those standards are unattainable. for the simple reason that it doesn't depend on you. Their actions, their life, their outcomes does not depend on you. If they respect you and love you and they treat you right, that is what is necessary in a relationship. I myself had this problem because I was raised by my mother and my grandma, that are both Slavic women, very strong Slavic women that had a very tough past, and they always held me to extremely high standards. And no matter what I did as a child to be perfect, there were always things for which they still scolded me, for which they were not happy with me, and I had to do more and more and more. Later in life, I learned that if I wanted to keep someone safe, I had to be able to control their health, their emotional well-being, their habits, their discipline, everything. And this created so much anxiety in me and also created a lot of friction in the relationships. And that's why I had to train my brain to let people do their thing, to not interfere with how they react to life, to their habits, to anything that was not simply being respected and loved in the relationship, which is ultimately the only thing that you can ask someone. You cannot police and control someone in any relationship. If this is causing you stress, that is a you problem. This is not the other person disrespecting you. Another person not living like you is not them disrespecting you. And another thing, when you use so much energy for someone else, you are depriving yourself of that energy. And what happens when you do this? You start picking up on the wrong habits that they have, and you start applying those habits to your life. I was focusing so much on trying to make this person eat healthy that I started picking up on their unhealthy habits. And I started gaining weight because my subconscious mind was constantly focused and anxious about what they were doing wrong. And all of this happened until I realized that I only have control on my own life, on my own choices, on my own habits. I have to handle my perfectionism on my own, on myself. Other people are not there to be as perfect as I expect from myself to be. And that's why I always tell you that if you want to be a happy woman, you have to be self-centered. You cannot be the kind of woman that focuses on everybody else but herself and be happy. You can give your warmth, your kindness, your patience, anything in your relationships, but 95% of the time you should be focused on yourself. I constantly raise my standards no matter what, on everything in life. I always try to become better, and every time that I achieve a goal, I already move on to the next goal. I just cannot stay in the same place for a long time without doing anything about it, because I literally get depressed. This is not wrong because I can control what I do, how I act in my own life. But the moment I start micromanaging people that I love around me, then that energy is gone. That energy to achieve my goals, to meet my standards is gone, and I become miserable. And this is why when I'm not centered on myself, I always become miserable. So let go of this misconception that being self-centered means that you don't care about anybody but yourself. It's not about caring. It's about your world revolving around your own internal world, not around the internal world of everybody else. There is no middle ground here. You are either self-centered or other-centered, because you only have that much amount of energy per day and you only have one mental space. So where you put your energy, you either put it outside or you either put it inside. But how do we do this? Because everybody says, stop caring about this, stop caring about that. Okay, but how precisely do we do this in the real world? Well, care follows where focus goes. So you have to create for yourself a life, a persona that excites you so much. Literally, you look at yourself into the mirror and you feel better about life just because of who you are. You associate yourself with things that make you happy. And every time that you think about your career, your hobbies, your internal world, your emotional state gets elevated. Every time that someone is awful to me, I go to the mirror and I see myself, I immediately feel better. I see that I'm still myself. I still have my heart. I still have my brain. I still have the body that I take so much care of, health-wise, looks-wise, everything. And every time that I see this, I see my efforts. I see my energy. When I go to the gym, I don't think I burned calories to shrink. I think I invested this 400 calories into myself. This is the energy, the amount of energy that I invested into myself today, into having my muscle, having my health. This is what I think when I see myself. And this is why no matter what you do to me, I'm never gonna be hard enough for me to sit there and cry about it. I might be hurt for a moment, but it is never that deep. And it's not just about physical aspect, it's more also your mind, what you create in your internal world. Constantly coming back to your inner world and grounding yourself. For example, I'm reading books right now. I fell in love with fantasy books. I come back to that world. If I'm really so hard that I can't stop thinking about something, I might as well read a fantasy book. I'm not gonna sit there and think, oh, this person was so awful to me. Why would I feel miserable just because someone else decided that they want me to feel miserable? You have to become your own sanctuary. Do things today that will make you happy about yourself tomorrow. Do things even that will make you happy about yourself today, but do something that is good for you. Stop acting on your emotions. You feel sad, okay, do it sad. Do it sad, but do something that will make you feel better, at least later. This is how you develop power on how you feel rather than other people controlling how you feel. Another reason why I wanted to focus on yourself and not on other people and other things around you is because no amount of overthinking will ever give you the control over a situation or prevent you from suffering. In fact, you will suffer much more if you overthink. Why? Because there is such a thing like clean pain and dirty pain. The clean pain is what is inevitable, what happens in your life, people betraying you, doing something wrong to you, and you just cannot control it. This will happen no matter what you do. And the good thing about this pain is that it passes relatively fast if you leave it alone. Dirty pain, this is when the event either never happened or it happened, but you keep this suffering alive by overthinking, catastrophizing, blaming yourself, spinning over and over and over this event until it consumes you from inside. And maybe this event happened for 10 minutes, but you can feel bad even for years, just because you allowed this event to take mental space in your brain. And here, I want you to be able to distinguish these two pains. And when you catch yourself in the second one, I want you to start looking for evidence in the real world. I want you to say, okay, if right now this event is not happening and I'm just preventing it from happening by trying to control things that are not in my control, and I'm feeling anxious because of this, okay, let me see what is there in the real world. If your pain is caused, for example, by fear of abandonment, I want you to look for evidence of why this person actually loves you and is not about to abandon you. The thing is that your brain is built for seeking evidence, for looking for evidence, putting pieces of puzzles together. This is how our brain is wired to work. So you can find evidence both that they will abandon you or that they will not abandon you and that they actually love you. But the thing is that if you keep finding evidence that they will abandon you, you will ruin a relationship even if it's good. And you will especially ruin yourself, your internal state. You will constantly rot from inside with bad emotions, with dirty pain. And in the second case, if you prepare to just be loved and cherished and you don't constantly think of this abandonment, then you only suffer if the thing actually happens. And honestly, you suffer for way less. And you see how this is a win-win situation. Because no matter if this person abandons you or stays, you either not suffer or suffer for way less time. Why would you choose to suffer for longer? Why would you choose to prepare yourself for suffering like you would prepare for a marathon? It genuinely will not make you suffer less aggressively. It will just wire your brain to expect even more suffering constantly. And what if it never happens and you actually don't even suffer? Because I want you to also realize that good things happen. Good people end up attracting good people and good opportunities. If bad experiences can make you expect always the worst, I want you to pick a good experience that you had and give power to that experience to make you expect the best. Okay? If tragedies of girls online going through tragic breakups and really bad abuse can make you feel like men are shit, then I want to be the one that makes you feel like men can be good. I have a relationship that I don't know where I would be if this was not for this person. This person helped me heal so much, and I started believing in good men again after this person. But when you constantly wire yourself with all these things that happen to other people, and nobody's gonna come on the internet and go viral because a relationship is good, but everybody goes viral when something goes really wrong. I want to be the one in this video to make you expect men to be good, to make you expect friends to be loyal, because this is happening to me. This happens to thousands of people every single day. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of girls are not getting disappointed by a man, are not getting disappointed by friends, and I don't want you to always feel unsafe just because something is good. And please stop feeling awkward every time that something goes right, okay? Because, okay, even if suddenly it goes wrong and everything falls apart out of the blue, so what? We are gonna be here, we're gonna put everything back together, we are gonna stand up again, and we are going to get the best for ourselves again. We can get up. Once that someone puts you down, you don't have to stay down. You are not condemned. You will always find a way to overcome everything. And the fact that these things could potentially happen does mean that you should prevent yourself from feeling happy when things go right. I want you to think about your brain's survival instinct like a smoke detector in the kitchen, okay? If you were raised in high pressure environments where you felt like you had to walk on eggshells to be safe and you had to always monitor everything around you, then this fire alarm is extremely sensitive. So whenever a partner makes a minor mistake or some social awkwardness happens, it rings this alarm at maximum volume. And you start feeling all this rush of emotions. You want to scream, to fight. In this moment, I want you to really take a moment and ask yourself, is this a real threat, or is this my brain making me see a threat? You can't control the initial alarm, but you can control what you do with it. You can control that you're not gonna scream this time, that you're not gonna start a fight, that you're not gonna start ruining your relationships for something that didn't even happen. You have control over your reaction. You can let that alarm beep and let your brain see that nothing wrong happens, that the house is not on fire, and every single time that alarm would be a little bit delayed, a little bit less loud. And that's why I also want to tell you, don't look for reassurance in this case, because reassurance is a weapon against yourself. It is like a painkiller for your anxiety, and it relieves a little bit that feeling in the moment, but it only teaches your body that the threat was real, that you got safe just because you checked, you asked for reassurance, not because the threat wasn't even there in the first place. To break your anxiety in this case, you have to do the hardest thing that you can do at this point, and it is absolutely nothing. To sit with the discomfort, to sit with the pain, and to wait for it to pass. Sit with that anxiety, sit with the discomfort, cry if you need to cry, but at the same time look at the real world evidence of the opposite. Show your brain what is the truth, and over time it's going to be easier and easier. But I only healed these parts of me, these emotional parts of me, when I stopped yelling, crying, asking for help, for other people to regulate me. And every time that these things happened, I realized that I started having this delay. My anxiety was spiking a little bit less and a little bit later, because my brain started realizing that, okay, I survived last time, now I can survive again. You win by showing your brain that you can survive these things. Now that you know how to handle your emotions internally, I will show you how to manage your reactions externally, even when emotions arise. This is a bit where social strategy comes in, and where you manipulate your reactions to be what benefits you, not other people. The first step here is having an avatar, creating an avatar for yourself that interacts with people without really engaging your real soul and making it vulnerable to others. And this applies to situations where you can't live, where you have to deal with people that constantly try to somehow sabotage you, to make you feel bad, punish you for something, and you can't get away from that situation, so you just have to endure this. These people that are nasty to you for no reason, what they want is a reaction. They want to see your face changing to angry, sad, frustrated, so they can be cruel to you very subtly without other people realizing it, and then telling to others, oh look, she's so weird, she's so moody, see how she is so antisocial, and they always want that reaction so they can use it against you. We are not giving them this reaction. When someone does this to me, I literally just get lost in my internal world. I mind my own business internally, and I still engage with my body and my face with calm politeness. I don't change face expression, posture, anything. I don't react at all. I completely detach from expecting them to change, to treat me better, to be different in any way, and I stay exactly the same. And this is what makes me untouchable, because they can try to hurt me, but they can't force me to care about what they're doing. And I swear that this removes all the fun from them, because all they want is this reaction in order to get something else, to portray you like something you're not. Wherever you remove all the fun, you will see these people getting so frustrated, trying new tactics on you, trying to micro-humiliate you in another way, while you stay completely at peace. And I want you to also understand that you really want to hold the power of your own life. You have to learn to show emotions only when it benefits you. Because if showing your emotions is not benefiting you, is absolutely certainly benefiting someone else. Emotions are a very powerful tool because you can use them to manipulate others, and others can use them to manipulate you with your own emotions. And as bad as it sounds to manipulate other people with your emotions, don't you try to feel any kind of bad for them, because other people constantly pull the strings of your emotions to use you as a puppet to achieve their goals, to appear in some way that they want to appear. So if you're not using your emotions to manipulate others, others are using your emotions to manipulate you. That's why you have to completely close that door. And I'm not telling you do this in your relationships. Do this with the people that love you. No, do this with people that don't care about you. Do this with people that want to use you, that want to put you down. With these people, you have to use your emotions to manipulate them. Nobody should be able to get a reaction from you by pushing an emotion like a button. And nobody should be able to see an emotion that doesn't benefit you, them seeing it. Otherwise, if this is not like this, I'm sorry to tell you that, but you are very easy to manipulate. But in order to achieve this, you have to wait for the emotion to peak completely, and then only decide which reaction benefits you. If you react in the same moment that you feel the emotion, you will embarrass yourself almost every single time. Have you ever been up at 3 a.m. and you were crying for something, and then in the morning you woke up and you were embarrassed even for the reason? Even thinking about the reason why you were crying feels like a gut punch because of how embarrassing you feel. You feel like that version of you in the morning is not the same version that was crying at 3 a.m. Why does this happen? That's because emotions are just chemical reactions happening in your body. When that chemical reaction passes, all those emotions will dissolve into thin air like they never existed. And this is the moment to think how to react. How much weight does that emotion deserve? Which reaction will benefit you, and which reaction will create more problems than benefits for you? This especially when you're forced to be around someone that cannot be changed. You have to always think, what will your reaction cost you? How much energy it will cost you to fix the damage that that reaction had? Like, for example, let's say you are in a job environment that you have to be there for a while, and there is this colleague that is passive-aggressive to you. They didn't punch on your face, they didn't slap you, and they didn't steal from you, but they're being passive-aggressive in private and nice in public. And let's say your reaction, you go to the boss and say, this person is awful, they're doing this and that to me, and they are so bad. And they ask this other person, and this colleague says, no, I'm being fine. I don't know, maybe she had a bad day. Maybe she was overthinking these things. I didn't do anything bad to her. I was just teaching her. Now you look crazy. Now is the moment that they achieved making you look unstable and they look fine. But where is the benefit here? Your reaction is benefiting them because they wanted to make you look crazy with the boss. And now the boss sees you in a way that will make your life more complicated, that will require even more energy from you on a daily basis in that job just because of that reaction. And that's why this is the moment where you become a blank wall and you let your avatar interact with this person for you. While you stay back, internally don't expect anything from them and just focus on your own little world inside of you. Also, this thing of looking into the emotion and analyzing it, what is telling you about yourself, what is telling you about the situation, all this thinking takes physically your brain out of that hemisphere where emotions dominate and puts it into that hemisphere where logic lives. And the moment that you shift from emotion to logic is where you stop being that emotional. This is the best side effect of actually learning about your emotions, about what is happening inside your body in that moment and how to transfer it into the best possible outcome for you. But another thing that makes emotions so uncontrollable is the thought, the feeling that what happened to us tells us something about us. We associate with that event. Therefore, the urge to fix the narrative makes us react strongly. But as isolating as it feels when someone bullies you, is nasty to you, abandons you, I want you to realize that even the woman that you see most as an inspiration, that you truly respect so deeply, even she has people wishing her the worst. Does this change her value? Does this change how you feel about her? It just means that some people are genuinely dirty from inside. They're awful. They want to steal her spark, your spark, my spark, just because they cannot generate their own light from inside. When you understand that how people treat you has nothing to do with your character, you lose that urge to prove that you are not who they treat you as. And those emotions stop flooding your system so aggressively. But another thing is that when you experience really bad stuff in your life, you go through painful experience, your brain can literally get used to notice negative triggers much more than positive triggers. So it becomes a master in detecting disrespect, hatred, pain, and it starts ignoring love, blessings, and all the good things that happen around you. And this used to happen to me as well. I used to be super good at detecting when people disrespected me, but I was really bad at detecting when people were showing me love. And how I fixed this? I started telling my brain literally when things were happening, this was an act of love. This, what happened right now, was my blessing. You can literally train your brain to see something that is not used to see. Because what you focus on the most are the things that your brain detects more automatically. And over time, you will notice that you will start feeling automatically blessed, loved. You will notice more kindness towards you. You know how easy it is to ignore someone being kind to you, and how easy it is to not forget ever someone being awful to you. You can have literally the most loving relationship and still your brain will use the rules of the person that abused you in the past. Your brain will always keep trying to use the old script because that's what it was trained to do, to survive in that situation. And you have to constantly remind your brain when something is safe, when something is love. And another reason why we lose our composure is because of shame. But I wanted to realize that shame doesn't exist because everybody experiences life from their own point of view. So if, for example, you were right now in a mall and someone did something super embarrassing, would you care if the person doing this was another person? Just instead of being the brunette girl, it was the blonde girl. From your point of view, it's just someone did something. And this is how people process life. Nobody will care if you did that or someone else did that. They will just think for a moment, okay, X person did X thing, done. No space in their mind will be occupied by Angelica did this and keep spinning around this event like you were spinning it in your head. So every time you feel ashamed of something, you can think as if someone else did that thing. You can literally put someone else's face on the action and get over with it. Completely forget it. And the most important thing, no matter how crazy an emotion feels in the moment, never make the mistake of announcing your next move, telling people what is on your mind that doesn't benefit you, because this is how you give to the wrong people leverage to prepare them to react to what you will do and to neutralize whatever is your plan. Very strong women that always win, they always keep their mouth shut and do the things. They let this chemical storm of hormones and of reactions go, and then afterwards they take a decision about what will benefit them. And we are strong because we have to sit there with the other person thinking that they won, and meantime we are strategizing on how to alter the reality. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you so much for being here to support this channel and our community, and I feel so grateful to be surrounded by women that are so poised, powerful, graceful and beautiful. And I can't wait to see you next time and to talk to you in the comments.